Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 328. Today is Saturday, August 1st, 2020, and I'm glad you could join me today. Would it be? I wasn't sure if I was going to record today or tomorrow, but would it be? I figured now is pretty decent. It's almost to the awkward 7 o'clock, so we'll make it work. It'll be fine. Such is life. What would it be? I have plans of probably rearranging this room again, just because this spot just isn't quite right. So I'll have to do a bit of rejiggering in order to make everything work out okay. With the addition of there's another chair, so maybe I'll actually be in the blue chair instead of this one. Who knows? Not super duper attached to it. The blue chair has been through like a very naughty kitty, so it's probably better that it's in the living room and not elsewhere. Such is life. So, what would it be? So, on the knitting front, it was a very productive week knitting because there wasn't very much spinning that happened this week. After finishing the ridiculous Nescane of Doom, I decided it was gonna probably be for the best that I just take a little vacation from spinning for a couple of days. And that's what I did. So I had more time to knit, which was good. So this is my Sizzle Pop, which is a Leslie Ann Robinson pattern that I'm knitting out of Mozzarella yarns in the You Can Never Take Me Down and You Can Never Have Enough Socks. So not too crazy. And I finished a repeat last night and I called that pretty good. So I now have 19 leaves across it and 36 leaves going down, which was interesting because last week I had that same count. So maybe I'm changing how I'm counting. That's fine. So as a result, what would it be? It is getting pretty big. Definitely a good size at this point, and when I weighed it, I had 62 grams left, so I used about 7 grams from the last time I weighed, which I think was half a repeat, because it was like 2 days ago or something like that. So we can now begin to see the awkward light rearing its head, but I got a little bit more than a repeat done this week, because I stopped at an awkward place a few weeks ago and kept ending up in an awkward place. So now can simply proceed to that next spot and call it good. So, what would it be? So this would be a case where I'm now about 7 grams of row. That means I probably have enough yarn for 4 more repeats, I think, or 4 more half repeats, if that's correct. So, not terrible. Would it be? Will I be able to finish that before the end of Stash Yes? Only if I have a productive August. And what would it be? I'll probably actually be doing more than just knitting. So, as you do. But yeah, no. So, not too crazy there. Definitely got some good progress on that one. So my other project, do not like the sound of that. Believe that's a break anything. Oh yeah, I love that. We'll have to figure out. Yeah, so this shawl is made out of singles, and I just got it trapped and snapped the yarn, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to repair that. So I am knitting the Mesa Sweater Wrap, which is a Romy Hill pattern, out of my Ginny the Fleece. So this is Teal 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 and Teal Teal Blue that I'm working with right now. Maybe we'll bring it in range of the camera. It's definitely in the sunshine now. So pretty close color-wise, but I'm working with both now, which is exciting. And it might end up being fairly subtle to see on the camera, but there is a color difference once you get into these ridges here. So, what would it be? I am implementing the knowing what I know now, this is what I would be doing differently, and so one part of that is knitting it at a slightly tighter gauge. Another part of it was actually putting on slightly more stitches. And then another part of it was how I was going about doing the yarn usage. So, as you do. So what's going on is, now that I sort of understand how the yarn usage is working a little bit better, what I'm doing is I use about 2/3 of the skein for this part, and this means that I'll use about a third, and a third for all of the subsequent skeins, and I can figure that out by weight, or to make sure that I have enough so that I'm using about a third of the next couple of colors. So this counts for a couple of different challenges right now. It probably won't count for Stash Dash because I find it very doubtful that I will be able to knit that much within the month of August. But it probably will count for the Bay Area Fiber Fair. So there are a couple of different challenges that this would count for. So when I get around to ripping out my original start, that will be something for the Bay Area Fiber Fair. It counts for, I'm going to count it for sheep to shawl, even though it is a sweater. It's a pretty short sweater, all things considered. And it'll count for stripes, and it'll count for a bunch of stuff. So that is okay. What would it be? But I did get fairly decent progress because I don't think I was done with the lace last week. So, and then when I end up ripping it out, I'll be able to get it onto bigger cables because right now I think I'm using my biggest cable on the project. So, coming together nicely. I'm much happier starting with this color now, so that's good. And I've put in a decent amount of work on it, not because I put in a decent amount of work on it because at this point I've made all of my Stash Dash goals, so it's not a big deal to continue on. So, what would it be? So that's that. So this is handspun sweater, should be really awesome. And slowly but surely coming together. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to fix. I don't know, so I ended up I've always thought this edge was super duper tight, but so you can see what's going on there. So my edge ended up coming off, and I'm not sure what else has happened to it, so I'll have to figure out how to get all of that sorted out. There's like just a little bit of garter in there, so I'll have to figure out how to get that right again. Oh well. Shouldn't be too crazy. But it may be the case where Unfortunately, it's in the orange section. I don't have very much orange with which to try fixing it. So I'm podcasting a little bit later today because I ended up taking part in the Camp Spend 15 a Day challenge. So this is something that's put on by Cheryl, the 1765 shepherdess. This year, one of the fun little competitions that she was running was to do a sheep to sweater contest. And so that was what I ended up doing for a decent amount of today. So I started with 5 grams of fiber. I took a pretty picture of it. I spun the fiber using all of my Jenkins spindles, so I took pictures when I was doing the singles. I took pictures of the plied ball of yarn, and then I knit this cute little sweater. So, ooh, it's definitely in the sunshine. That's just not quite gonna look right, is it? So, would it be? I may need to include a little photo of the finished sweater in the episode thread, because it's just not gonna look right, I don't think. Yeah, no, it's pretty blown out in the sunshine, so whatever, such is life. So, everyone had to follow the same little pattern for the sweater. So, and what would it be? I think there were 2 different things that were going on. So if you spun thicker weight, it probably took less time to do, and you might run out of yarn for the sweater. You spin thinner weight, you spend extra time spinning, and then you have lots of leftovers. Ta-da! Out of the 5 grams that I spun, I got 31 yards, which equals about 713 yards out of a, it would end up equaling about 713 yards of a 4-ounce spin. So pretty fine, all things considered. It took 1.81 grams to knit. So this little sweater is 11.7 yards, and then this is the remainder. So I almost have 2/3 of it left. So I ended up running out of the silver a little bit early, so I have a little bit of green that I just applied on itself. But I used a Friends and Fiber sample in the Delphinium colorway, and a, what would it be? And a hip string sample. I believe that was the Gray Lady. I don't know, I could be wrong. Yeah, because I thought I knew what it was, but who knows. So, and I knew because I was going to end up spinning it fine that I probably didn't need it all. So this is some of the purple Friends and Fiber, and this is the gray hip strings. So I have a little bit extra, which I probably could end up spinning into another little yarn to use this, because they were probably both about, I don't know, they were, it wasn't enough in the sample to just do it all in one. And I sort of wanted to have it be maybe a little bit more complicated of a yarn. So, what would it be? So I managed to get, like I broke the colored fiber into 6 different chunks, and so then this sweater used 1 and a little bit of the different colors. So I have something that's more of like a spring green, which was where the yellow was. I've got some purple, and then I've got some sort of bright green in there as well, and I just spun it end to end. So, not too crazy. So, it turned out really cute. And we'll see how things work out. So there's going to be Or will it be? I don't know whether or not I did this fast enough that I'll end up winning the prize, because what would it be? Spinning the spine takes time. And I don't know if it ended up being extra fiddly because I ended up knitting it out of a, or knitting with a 0 needle. It's not even gonna focus. I focused. I don't know if you guys can see. But it accidentally ended up having green sleeves for both sleeves, so that was really cute. That was not expected. Not too crazy. So, there's that. And then you can maybe see a little bit more clearly the green. Cover my face, back up. Yeah, whatever. So, I have taken all my little pictures. I haven't really checked Instagram too much today, so hopefully that won't be too crazy. And life continues on. So, that was a fun little project. I ended up, what would it be? I suppose I wasn't going to be super duper competitive. I definitely took like a couple of breaks, and one of the breaks I like cooked breakfast in the middle. And then another one of the little breaks that I ended up taking, I made myself some coffee and then steamed the singles, because it's just a lot of fun. It's really amazing when you hold it under the steam to see it like plump up and sort of like change and rearrange. Wool is fun like that in terms of what ends up happening. So as soon as this little end hit steam, it got like so plump. So that was good. So overall, I think I'm pretty happy with the spin. Would it be my cute little small amount of spinning for the day. So, sweater, done. Not too crazy. So, and that segues pretty nicely into what has arrived this week. So, would it be? It'd be the case where the camp spin ended up having, or would it be? It'd be the case where you got like a little camp pack to go with it. So this is so 1764 shepherdess, and I ended up getting 4 ounces of Dorset horn, and this was would it be about 100 grams of fiber, and this colorway is Port Gamble. So I asked for having it be as variegated as possible, because I think that'll end up being the most fun to spin. And so it's got like some really brilliant sapphire, but then would it be a lot of like sky blue and almost like a little bit of gray to it as well. If I bring it close enough, will it be in the shadows? No. No. So, this will be a fun little spin to do. I probably will end up spinning it pretty thick. And we'll see how that ends up coming together. But, should be fun. And then ended up getting a couple of other bits and pieces with it as well. So one of those was a nice little project bag with a canoe on it that I ended up taking pictures with. A pen, and also a stitch marker, which fell deep within. So cute little canoe stitch marker. There we go. So, what would it be? I'll have to take another photo later today for following the prompt. I think this time the prompt is what would it be? The prompt is about like stars and campfires and that sort of thing. So we shall see how that comes together. But yeah, no. So that was pretty cute. I decided sort of last minute that I was going to join in on the little camp. So there was what would it be? So this is sort of a part of my normal, or this is a part of my Friday night, or this is my Friday night spinning group. So not too crazy. So it was fun to spend a little bit of extra time. I'll probably hop on. I'll probably end up hopping on and voting for my People's Choice for the little sweater competition and call it good. The other thing that I was hoping would arrive and then ended up coming a little bit too late for the podcast was this game. So this is the last bit of SSK Virtual Market Week that I ended up getting. So this is Urban Girls Yarn, who is a black dyer in Virginia, and I had the pleasure of meeting Sheila at SSK last year, and so I ended up picking up this game. I was hoping that I could use it for the Empower project, and I might do it anyways. It was the case where this game itself ended up turning out a lot more green than purple, so I was just looking forward to having, what would it be? Or when I looked at the picture on the internet, it seemed like it was more purple than it actually turned out, but that's no big deal. So it's 125 gram skein, 480 yards, 2-ply fingering. It's 90-10 superwash merino nylon blend. So, and then this colorway is Loud and Proud. So it's got greens, purples, whites, teals, a little bit of yellow in it, even like a little bit of orange in it as well. So should be fun. So I might end up, or the odds seem pretty decent that I'll end up knitting the Empower Project bandana anyways with this yarn and call it good. So not too crazy, but part of the Empower project was making something with purple yarn, so purple and a bunch of other things, no big deal. So not too crazy. It's very soft, so probably not such a good candidate for socks in the grand scheme of things. But who knows, whatever. It's 2-ply, so I probably won't use it for socks anyway, so should make a fun little bandana cowl thing for that. So that was my purpose there. Alrighty, tight. So the last thing is so now that it's August, I am preparing for the next Feather Your Nest challenge, and so I am going to be spinning a spin cycle style yarn using these 6 different colors. And this one actually is coming in fairly true, so maybe I just need to use more warm colors instead of cool colors. But so this is going to be a contrast for my hinterland sweater. And what would it be? I have 3 bags of this, and so I will finally get back to spinning on my wheel again. And what I have to decide on is if I'm going to do some combo drafting or put together some gradients, or I'm not sure. So what would it be? Because I would say or put together gradients for my biggest pieces and then do random grab bag for the rest. I'm not sure. Should be fun though. But so I have like a pink, an orange, sort of a purple, and ochre. Somewhere in here is more of a true red, and then the white. So with these 6 colors, I think I'll end up creating a really cool yarn. And as I'm sort of like looking at pictures of it knit up, trying to sort of hit what that looks like exactly. So there is a distinct possibility. I'll maybe like lay it out and do the thinking on that first one, but I haven't started yet because I just got done with the little sweater, so I can now focus on this project. So I have 6 ounces to spin, so I'll have about 2 ounces per bobbin. I already split it up, so it should be good there. And that'll be a part of the Feather Your Nest Challenge for August. I haven't decided yet what my September project's going to be. There's plenty of time to decide. And then the last thing I ended up working on was this coloring page. So, what would it be? I ended up breaking out some markers that I'm pretty sure are 15 years old from when I went off to college. And what would it be? The orange performance is not the same. It definitely turned out to be, what would it be? The orange definitely is much more brown than it used to be. But I ended up making actually a pretty bold thing, so I was trying to leave like a little bit more white space on it so you could have, just because none of the colors were light. But yeah, no, so I put together that little coloring page on Tuesday or Wednesday. It was just sort of a decompress sort of thing. And then I have ended up printing out another copy of ones that are skeins of yarn. So, what would it be? With all of their little speckles. So, I believe that Shellykin was the one who ended up doing all of the graphic design for this, so that's pretty cool. So, I will probably be transitioning away from talking about Stash Chef stuff and talking about what I'm doing for the Bay Area Fiber Fair. So that's going on. It started, I think, about 2 weeks ago and is going through the 15th of October. And so this is something that's open to everybody in the United States. And there are ways to participate that don't cost any money, and there are ways to participate that do. So a pretty good mixture of stuff. And like, I'd encourage you guys to check out and see what sort of fun things are going on. So it's been interesting to try to figure out, like, okay, how does this work for various challenges? So let's see. So my sweater project counts for 4 or more colors. I am using a gradient yarn or set of gradient skeins. I'm using hand spun, making stripes. It has lace in it. Oh, I can count my little sweater as a garment, including miniature. I can probably, would be counted also for single skein as well. What would it be? And then some things are like dyeing yarn, spinning yarn, mending something, visual mending, finishing a hibernating project, frogging a project, so that'll probably count for my sweater as well. Organizing my crafting tools or stash, I'm sure that one's going to be fairly easy. And there's a couple of ones that are from more specific to the Bay Area But one of them is to make a purple Empower People bandana, which is why I ended up getting the yarn. Use yarn from BIPOC Dyer, pattern from a BIPOC designer, LGBTQ dyer or designer, and all of that fun stuff. Oh, and one of them is even knitting something designed by you. So there are a lot of fun things. Another one was like reviewing your LYS. So some things are easier to do than others, just based on what I have on hand, but I will probably be taking a decent number of photos and tagging those. And the other thing is that the entries are cumulative, so as soon as you complete a challenge, you are in the pool for prize draws for the rest of the challenge. So I need to get that little sweater in there and call it good. And maybe I'll end up, I think I'll end up needing to do a little bit of mending on my shawl, so whoopsies. So that's gonna happen. Although I didn't want it to happen, but such is life. So not too crazy. As you do. But, no, well, I'm just sort of trying to assess the damage. I guess it's further towards the edge, so hopefully it won't be too terrible. The other question is whether or not I had multiple strands break, or if it was just a single strand. So sometimes stuff like that ends up running like a bad pair of nylons, so yeah, this looks like it's looks like that might be 2 strands, which is less than ideal. Oh well, I'll figure something out for that one. I know I had to laugh because I'm like, oh yeah, no, the shawl's doing great. I don't know, I didn't fold the singles, so it's definitely probably on the more delicate side. So, let's see. Talked about next spinning project, talked about finished objects, works in progress, challenges I'm doing. So where I'm at for stash dash yardage so far, let's see if I can bring that up without too much pain. I guess I somehow brushed things. I did have one that was just dedicated to stash dash, but now I guess it is a little bit harder to get to. Okay. So, but luckily I favorited it, so it's not too bad to get at. Alright, so I'm at 21,253.2 meters. So, pretty crazy yardage this year. More than double what I had last year. But that's okay. Last year I was moving and all of that craziness, so much more chill this time. I would be preparing to sell the house, selling the house, and moving during the period of stash dash, so that's fine. I didn't have high hopes for that particular year. What would it be? Such is life. So, I guess we're a little bit shorter this week, but that's probably not the end of the world. And I'm interested to hear you guys' feedback about whether or not, would it be, it's a little bit better sound-wise. with this setup. So in this case, I'm using my laptop's microphone, but then my webcam, or I have an external webcam that I use because it has, I think, slightly better resolution and color fidelity. But the problem is that whenever the webcam focuses, it's the little motor that it's using to focus makes sounds that pick up on the webcam microphone, and you can't hear it otherwise. So I'm hoping with all that trying to get stuff to focus that it was a little bit quieter this week. So I'd be happy to hear any feedback about that, or whatever else you guys want to share. I'm happy to hear from you guys. So looking good for recording as usual next week. There aren't any plans going on around here. So not too bad. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.